Yeah, so talk about how this evolved, and I'm really interested in, because it takes so much practice to do what you're doing, and it's all about, in a way, the mind, because the mind needs to achieve what you're creating, but it's all of creation in a sense that you're tapping into. I think so. Well, tell me about the wisdom you've gained and how you serve. Okay.
Yeah, you just said the magic words. You reminded me that in our second interview, so I should say right now for the viewers who are just now joining, there are two interviews that precede this, and they're on yoga and consciousness. And in the second one, when we met last, we started talking about mind, but I kept saying beyond mind, beyond mind, beyond mind. And so there it is again, and that is where we are going today. And let me see. Okay, I better start taking notes. There's always a lot more, a lot all at once. I told you that in my practice, I experienced something that I call self-cultivation leads to service. And when you do the work for yourself, then you can do it in service to others. So, you're familiar with those concepts that we can only give what we have and we can only receive what we can hold. And this is why that self-cultivation is one of the most important kind of self-empowerment, self-fortifying practices that we can do. It's not a selfish thing, it's the opposite. So I started to tell you that I think I started to tell you that while people come to me, they schedule private sessions with me because they think that they want to learn a very schmancy posture, like a dancer pose, or something like that, a full standing bow, something very deep and complex. And what happens is in that field that we share, they end up realizing frequently that what needs to happen is some talking and some communication and some kind of connecting on a spiritual level, in the form of what you might even call a spiritual consult. And those spiritual consults, as far as I'm concerned, tend to be far more important than a posture. Remember, I told you in the very beginning in session number 1 that it's not about the posture. The posture is the tool you use to get there in the indication that you have. And we started talking about everything that means. But at some point, and the body is the learning device for the mind, but at some point we're trying to get to all of our layers of being, right? The mind on the level of thoughts and beliefs, and then the feelings and emotions that are in response to the thoughts and beliefs, and then there's the form. So while people come to me for the points of form in asana, they come to me now on far deeper levels for like spiritual consult. So now this is what fed to today's topic, is that I have a student who was coming to me for asana. She was wanting to learn some very intricate postures. And as we came to know each other, and by the way, she listened to interview number 1 and interview number 2 in their entirety. As we got to know each other with her and with many other people, she started just asking me to be available on levels that have nothing to do with posture, just with kind of conversations of a deep nature, deep, intimate, personal, spiritual nature. And that definitely is how I serve, above and beyond just teaching, postures. But now there's this other thing that's happening, and this is a very, very timely conversation. So she schedules an appointment with me, and I think that it's probably for working some postures. And then she starts talking to me, and I'm feeling my way and realizing that this will be a conversation of a spiritual nature. But the way that this unfolded was extraordinary. And so at the end of it, I knew with all certainty that what had unfolded in my session with her was so deeply, deeply profound and meaningful, and that anyone and everyone who hears this can benefit from that situation.